I'm William Target and welcome to the Formula 1 show report for the Hungarian Grand Prix. I know this episode's a little bit late, but that's because we've made some changes. We've had a 5,000% increase in our budget, which has allowed us to buy this fancy new camera to record our episodes with. Onto the race now, and the Hungarian Grand Prix once again gave us a fantastic race to send us off for the summer break. Well done to those of you who aren't on this list. You have a nice couple of weeks off. If I do call your name out, however, you've got some thinking to do before we get to Belgium. Remember, I didn't put you on this list, you put you on this list. Let it begin. At number 5, McLaren's Toon series. When it first came on during the ad break last season, we were pleasantly surprised by it. Yes, Jensen and Lewis's acting may not have been very good, but it wasn't so horribly offensive as to be a detriment to the show as a whole. The stories were funny, Alexander Armstrong was funny, and it made me look forward to the adverts. I was very intrigued to see its new incarnation this year with Sergio Perez. When the first episode aired before the German Grand Prix, I was again surprised, although not pleasantly. JB and Checo had about one line each in the first episode, and no lines at all in the second. All we got instead was a miniature Sean Connery giving a not at all funny history of McLaren. Great. At number 4, Romain Grosjean. It was going so well. After his excellent podium in Germany and with Hungary being a track where many drivers have claimed their first victories, expectations were sky high for Grosjean last weekend, and he looked to be living up to those expectations when he qualified an impressive third and looked to be well in the fight early on for his first Formula 1 victory. And then it all went tits up. He was perfectly positioned to make a lovely overtake on Jensen Button going into the chicane when he needlessly moved over and gave Jensen a whack. Once again, it showed a complete lack of spatial awareness on the part of the Frenchman, and Jensen made it perfectly clear over the team radio how he felt about the incident, referring to Grosjean as that effing idiot Lotus. Grosjean got a 20-second time penalty for the incident on top of the drive-through that he got earlier in the race for his illegal overtake of Felipe Massa. Speaking of which, when he first got around the Ferrari, I was prepared to call it overtake of the season, as were many others, but he was rightly impeded as he left the track. And for all those people who said it was a stupid penalty, remember Vettel being punished for the exact same thing last year? Grosjean did leave the track and the penalty was justified. Judging by his actions last weekend, you could have been forgiven for thinking that Ferrari's Felipe Massa had some kind of personal vendetta against his own front wing, as he tried twice to break the thing off on the back ends of Nico Rosberg and Adrian Sutil. It seems as though every year around this time we say about how Felipe Massa won't be in the Ferrari next year, but at every March and the start of the season rolls around, there he is, crashing into people and pulling in a whopping 10% of Ferrari's constructors' points. Every now and then he seems to have an amazing qualifying, and he's electrifying off the start line in most races, but for a team like Ferrari, he's just not consistent enough of a driver anymore. He might still hang on to the race seat for 2014, but after that I fully expect to see Fernando Alonso paired with either Paul di Resta or Nico Hülkenberg. Get out of shape 3 now, which this week goes to McLaren's Jensen Button. McLaren ought to have been turning things around in recent races, just gradually improving as they go along, and if their mid-term development goes well, they could find themselves in the hunt for a podium or two in the second half of the season. For Jensen on a personal level, he put in an excellent performance, recovering from a poor 13th in qualifying and a collision with an effing idiot Lotus to finish a respectable 7th. He also spent a majority of the race holding up F1's pantomime villain Sebastian Vettel, allowing Lewis Hamilton to stretch his lead and take a well-deserved victory. Well done, gents. At number 2, Force India, for whom things just keep getting worse and worse. They're currently 5th in the Constructors' title, holding a slender 2-point lead over McLaren. The second half of the season is usually when development becomes more key, which is why the teams with the bigger budgets and better staff usually improve after the summer break. And if McLaren improve, which I imagine they will, and Force India continue to piss good race results up the wall, they won't be in 5th by the end of the year. Paul di Resta's engineers seem to have no concept of qualifying strategy and usually leave him qualifying 18th with plenty to do on Sunday, whereas Adrian Sutil usually ends up colliding with someone, whether it's his fault or not. It's a shame really, because with the car they've got, they should be doing much better. Shame, Force India. Only the brown paper bag of shame this week, the summer break. A whole 3 weekends without F1 follow. Thank Christ football was coming back to keep me sane. But even when F1 comes back is inconvenient for me, because my brother and his girlfriend recently got engaged, which is great, congratulations, no. But they've scheduled their engagement party for Sunday the 25th of August, the same day as the Belgian Grand Prix. And yes, the Grand Prix starts at 1 and the party is until 3, but they've got a big elaborate Hawaiian theme and they're going to want me to help decorate and all that. I hope you're happy, Jack and Charlotte. I hope you're goddamn happy. We'll see you in Spa.